stop consuming negative content. See, for the past week or so, it's like 3 in the morning, right? I'm done with my day, but I just couldn't fall asleep. And so I was too awake to fall asleep, right? But I was also too asleep to do anything else besides lay there on my bed. And so what I ended up doing was just scrolling TikTok. And let me tell you, my For You page at 3 in the morning was genuinely some of the most depressing stuff I've ever seen. Like, these are echoes of the real 2022 slideshow era. If you know, you know. And I just kept mindlessly scrolling until I could fall asleep. And bro, that was just not healthy. So this is just, I guess, my experience and my advice about negative content. So at first, negative content, which this is content that I guess has people sharing their negative experiences or their negative thoughts on the internet. Something like, I feel like a loser, which, I mean, obviously it's not just that, but like that's probably the most, I guess, common example and like the most simple one, really. And at first, I guess you feel solidarity, like you're like, somebody finally gets me, like I understand these people, like these people, I relate to them, like I feel like a loser too. And it feels good at the beginning, but as you scroll and scroll, you just get this negative feedback loop where you're like, okay, I will always be a loser. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you just get consumed this negative content that you reflect it. Like, you've become more negative as a result of watching this much negative TikToks. And you just really, like, you're just in such a bad mental place after watching it. And I think that's common with a lot of content where if it's happy content, which, okay, this sounds really stupid, but if it's like happy content, then you're gonna be more happy. If it's sad content, you're gonna be more sad. That's just how it is. Like, especially with negative content, a lot of them being with like text, you read them in your mind, and maybe like sometimes, right, you start to believe it. You start to realize, like, you put yourself in that position, and you're just like, man, you just become sad. And I get it. At first, it feels actually so good to have people understand where you're coming from, but just if you keep hammering down the negativity in your life, it's gonna be, I guess, drastically increased. You're gonna feel more negative. You're gonna think more negative. You're gonna be more negative. And you might be like, yeah, these videos are true. That's why I relate to them. And like, yes, but also, I feel like you can't keep feeding yourself negativity. You gotta look on the bright side. You gotta have hope. You gotta believe that you can be someone better. And maybe that's just me talking. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll try and you'll fail. But I mean, just like my previous video, you have to try, because you're not gonna know if you can or can't. But anyways, that's just what I have to say for today. I've been in I don't know. It's been weird. Like, I just couldn't fall asleep and watching so many negative TikToks, and I'm like, man, I've become way more negative. And like, even with the videos I record, that's been reflected. I've been making some really, I guess, videos where I talk about the negative aspects of my life, which I might post them, I might not. Really depends. Like, maybe, I don't know. But like, you don't realize like how much content seeps into your inner self. Like, it affects so much of you, whether you know it or not. And I just want you guys to notice that. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. And yeah, as always, take care.